Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for showing interest into attending our fifth session of the English conversation course. I can't believe this because I've been absent for like 3 weeks till now, and I was this insisting on showing up in this week, in this particular week, especially that I was supposed to give you a lecture yesterday, so sorry for this, but something happened. I got called for traveling from Sharm el-Sheikh to Cairo, and I got some colds. It can be apparent in my voice, but now as I'm getting better, I'm getting much better right now, thank God. So I decided to meet up with you in order to join another lecture and another session, another informative session of our business. This is our fifth session, so we have other two sessions, session 6 and session 7, which are gonna be on the forthcoming Fridays, inshallah. Thank you again for being used on the recordings that you kept sending every single day since our last session till the 18th. So I'm really happy that you did that, and every single audio about to showing your recordings to my friends, to my teachers, and to my professors as well, to be proud, to be so proud of my students, to be so proud of all of you. I keep telling them that these are my students, these are my brothers and sisters, these are the people who I'm learning from, as I'm just teaching. So I'm not only teaching you, I'm also learning from you. So a gratitude to all of you, a gratitude to all of your efforts and commitment and encouragement throughout the last 3 weeks. So I've been in Sharm el-Sheikh for like 3 weeks, and it was a very, very great experience. And I wish you had been there with me. Yeah, you totally need to do this. I just want you to get exposed to English all the time, because when I was in Sharm el-Sheikh in COP27, I was in the blue zone. I was speaking English like this all the time. I wasn't dealing with any Egyptians. I was in the United Nations vicinity. So I'm dealing with the UN security. I'm dealing with UN officials. I'm dealing with guests from all over the world. And I dealt with Chinese people, Pakistani people, Croatian. You can say Indians, you can say all over the world. I kept dealing with those people, and we kept speaking English all the time. You can say that I kept speaking English for like 12 hours per day, which is a very, very good exposure. So I wish you have been there with me, and I wish you can get into such an experience one day, because it's not that important for English, but for your personality to deal with such different nationalities, different perspectives, and different personalities as well, to see how people perceive work, how people perceive life, how people perceive talking to each other. So we made much friends from such an important conference that was held in Sharm el-Sheikh. And believe me, being there was not only an honor for my country, for Egypt, or for myself, but it was another addition to my life, another addition to my career, because it's my first with an international organization on site. But I didn't go to the United Nations before. I've been a translator for the COP26 in Glasgow, but online. But this time it was on our land in on Sharm el-Sheikh, and next time is gonna be on the Emirates. And I wish I can be there, and I wish you all can be there in the Emirates, inshallah. So lesson learned number one is that you need to expose yourself to English all the time. Be in a place or in a situation or with people where you can speak English all the time. And if you do not have a meeting, if you do not have a conference to do so, you can do the same with your friends, with your mates, with your colleagues, with anyone that has the same purpose or have the same objective like yours. Okay, so this is number one. Number two, you need to know that we have different personalities and we have different perceptions towards life, towards the whole world. So you need to understand that we are different. We are totally different. I'm different from Ahmed Zakaria. I'm different from May. I'm different from Mariam, from Radwa, from Tasneem, and from all of our brothers and sisters in our course. So we are different. We can speak in different ways. So never be ashamed of the way you speak. And I have met officials from the United Nations. You can believe me. Officials from the United Nations who do not speak English in a good way. I mean, they are not native by the end of the day. I kept talking to Indian people, Pakistani people, Chinese, Italian, Croatian, German people, people from Cameroon, those and them, because in Egypt here we speak English very well. So lesson learned number two, do not get ashamed of your English skills, because there are a lot of international officers and officials who cannot speak English just like you. You are much better. Believe me, I'm not like showing off our Egyptian nationality. I'm not showing off my skills, but believe me, you are much better. And when you speak English with another one that is not native, just don't get afraid. He's not there to judge you. He's not there to say that if you're good or not. No, no, no. He's just listening to you. He wants your message delivered. And you want the same from him. You want his message to be delivered to your mind. So this is lesson learned number two. Number three, I know we have young people here and we have elders. So I want each one of you to try himself out with international organizations, to work with an international organization helps you to get more information about life, about business, about career world, about the whole world itself. So lesson learned number three, I want you to focus on getting opportunity to work for an international organization. It's not necessarily the United Nations. It can be other companies, other organizations. You can work with embassies and so on. You know that we have a number of embassies here in Egypt, international embassies for different countries that asks and requires and asks people to apply for certain jobs. So if we have certain people here who are young, maybe May Mitwalli or Maryam Abdel Mun'im, or I know we have, you can apply for those. I do not have a specific ad on hand right now. مفيش إعلان في إيدي دلوقتي موجود. However, there are a lot of ads over there, and in the forthcoming days, we're gonna have a lot of those advertisements. So get ready, get your CV ready, and always be on the spot. يعني حاول دايما ان انت تكون جاهز with your CV, with your cover letter, with your experience, with your everything. So when you get the chance to apply for a job, apply for an intern, apply for a scholarship, you're ready. You do not have to spend time on preparing your own CV or any other business. No, you're ready. You can apply for it on the spot. So please do this. Always be prepared. Never be ashamed of your accent, because they're not there to judge you. I've been talking to different nationalities, and no one of them kept talking like natives, like Americans, like British people. No, 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 no. You just want to deliver the message to the interlocutor. So never get this, because احنا عندنا في مصر الموضوع ده زايد شوية. So please محدش يخاف من الموضوع ده. Your accent is very good as long as you are self-confident, you're trustworthy, you can speak well, you can deliver your message, you can express your ideas, your perspectives, the meaning that you want to deliver. You gonna be there. ما تقلقش، الدنيا تبقى تمام جدا طول ما انت عندك كل المعايير دي. Okay, so this was a little introduction that I wanted to discuss with you. It's been a pleasure. كان مؤتمر قوي جدا الحمد لله. It was a nice experience. تجربة جديدة، تجربة كبيرة، تجربة حقيقي يعني أتمنى لحضراتكم أنتم تمروا بيها في يوم من الأيام. And every single one of you deserves. Number two, your audios. And as I told you before, I kept listening to all of your audios. And I know not all of you kept the same commitment all the day for our audios. أنا عارف إن مش الكل كان ملتزم قوي، ويمكن كان في أيام بتسقط مننا في التسجيلات. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. So I'm sorry for this. It's not a problem. It's not a shame. I know we've been on a vacation on a lot of days off, but when I kept listening to your audios, I kept focusing on how developed you can get day by day. يعني كل ما بسمع اوديو مثلا for example ليه مثلا مين، او مثلا على سبيل المثال اخونا محمد مقلد مثلا لما كان بيبعت اوديوز مثلا بصفة شبه يومية، اشوف كده اوديو واقارنه باللي بعده. the man is getting much better, the man is moving forward. يعني حتى لو ببطء, even if you're slow, but you keep moving towards your future, your endeavors. And that's why I ask you to never stop sending your audios. ده مهم جدا ان انا افضل متكلم وافضل شغال وافضل ان انا ما اوقفش خالص. This is very important. So thank you so much Muhammad for your performance. And May is one of my best discoveries، من ضمن الاكتشافات الهائلة بصراحة. يعني هي مي طبعا انا اعرفها من كذا سنة. However, May keeps breaking my expectations. كل مرة بقول لي الآخر هنا، النهاية هنا، هي آخرها هنا. However, she keeps breaking those performance. Thank you so much for your commitment to send those audios. أنا عارف إن إحنا ما كناش بنبعت كل يوم، دي مش مشكلة خالص. كلنا عندنا أشغال، كلنا عندنا our own business, our own stuff to deal with. اللي عنده امتحانات، اللي عنده شغل، اللي عنده أي حاجة. However, my feedback is that I don't want you to stop sending audios. Even if when we finish our course, please do not stop sending audios. يعني مش عشان احنا خلصنا توقفوا ان انتوا تبعتوا الاوديوز، بالعكس خالص. الناس بتفضل مكمله معايا even for free, even for nothing. They keep sending me their audios asking for feedbacks, and I give them back their feedback. And they say that we are now friends, not a professor-student relationship. It's a friendship between me and Ahmed Zakaria, أنا أسماء حمدي, and مي متولي, مريم, محمد مقلد, رضوى, فاروق, وتسنيم, and all those gentlemen and ladies who couldn't be there today. Stop sending your audios. في ناس باين قوي من نبرة الصوت ان في self confidence, ان في much power to show off, much confidence to show off. يعني حسيت ان الموضوع مش بس مجرد self confidence, لا في show off كده، في كده انا فرحان ان انا واثق من نفسي وبتكلم براحتي والدنيا مرتاح معايا. at the top of which على رأسهم مي عبد المنعم, مي متولي, and بس مش مشكلة. So كان نفسي يكون موجود والله، بس it's not a problem. مفيش مشكلة خالص. So my feedback on you, all of you need to keep the commitment to send those audios. وانا عارف ان كان في تمرين كان بيساعدنا جدا، اتمنى لو نعرف نرجع له تاني ونشتغل على نفسنا اكتر فيه، لكن بمدد اطول شويه. For example, if I kept talking about myself, my future, my house, my wife, my children, my father, my mother, my family and my endeavors in the future، ده مش كفايه. انا محتاج برضو ان انا ازق لقدام شويه. I can talk about my problems, my issues, my aspirations in the future. I can talk more about details in my career. I can talk about football. If you're watching Qatar World Cup, you can talk about it. If you have been watching COP27, you can talk about that. So I want you to keep talking, to keep expressing yourself. And you do not have to tell me the truth about yourself. You can lie because I don't care about the truth. I only care about your language. So please focus on this. Just send me longer audios بسرعة جدا، تكون كويكلي جدا، بس أنا عايزها تكون مدتها أطول حبتين. So I want to hear from أحمد زكريا مثلا، بدل ما يبعت لي دقيقة لا يبعت لي دقيقتين وثلاثة. The man wouldn't stop talking، وأنا عارف إن هو يقدر يعمل ده بمنتهى البساطة. يعني بدل ما يتكلم دقيقة واحدة بسرعة أو 30 ثانية بسرعة، لا يبعت لي دقيقة ودقيقة ونص ودقيقتين وهو بيتكلم عن أي حاجة هو اللي يختارها بنفسه. And the man doesn't stop، وأنا عارف إن هو يعرف يعمل ده زي بقية حضراتكم بالظبط. So please كملوا في ده. فهنكمل في التمرين بتاع ان احنا نتكلم عن نفسنا بسرعه جدا، مش لازم نقول الحقيقه، ممكن في مواقف انا الفها او اقولها كده من الفراغ. As long as keep practicing conversation, practicing talking English, speaking English all the time. Okay, thank you so much. And this was a quick introduction to our business, and I'm happy that we are together today. خلونا ندخل في البيزنس بتاعنا مباشرة على طول، واقول لكم احنا عندنا ايه النهارده. عندنا النهارده يعني حاجه جديده احنا ما عملناش قبل كده، and it's much more complicated than anything that we did before. علشان كده حابب ان انا ادخل فيها على طول. Number one, and because some of you asked me on private that what if I'm going to take a TOEFL or IELTS test. انا لو ادخل امتحان دولي، لو انا مثلا رايح منحه، بعمل ماسترز ديجري، بعمل مثلا PhD، مقدم على هجره، whatever, what exam should I take in order to be qualified for such an opportunity? It's TOEFL or IELTS. Both are good. يعني هي الموضوع مش فارق معايا ولا هيفرق معاك إلا لما يكون مثلا في تحديد لحاجة معينة. However, my advice to my brothers and sisters, I want you to start with the TOEFL, not the IELTS. I have a question. Did any one of you get the TOEFL exam before؟ في حد أخذ امتحان التويفل قبل كده؟ Please raise your hand if you did. No one got the TOEFL exam. محدش اخذ امتحان التويفل قبل كده، مش كده؟ خالص اطلاقا. محدش اخذ امتحان التويفل قبل كده. طب امتحان الايلتس، حد امتحن ايلتس قبل كده؟ معقول يا جماعه؟ محدش قدم، محدش امتحن ولا؟ طب حد اخذ preparation course في تويفل او ايلتس؟ برضه نفس الكلام، محدش لا امتحن ولا حد ذاكره حتى، مش كده؟ مش مشكله، هي برضه ده ممكن يكون ميزه في ان احنا نتكلم في الموضوع ده بشكل تفصيلي اكتر. Especially in speaking English. If you want to speak English, okay, some people are sending me messages. Okay, مفيش مشكلة، مفيش مشكلة، حصل خير. الناس اللي مش هتعرف تحضر النهارده كده كده المحاضرة مسجلة، فأنا هبعت لهم التسجيل. So if you are applying for an opportunity for travel, for a job, for a scholarship, you want to take either a TOEFL exam or an IELTS exam. My advice to my sisters and my brothers is that you need to take the TOEFL exam first. Is it much easier? Yeah, it's easier, but not that much. It's easy, yeah, completely. TOEFL is much easier than IELTS. التويفل فعلا أسهل من الIELTS. حتى نظام التصحيح بتاعه يعني مش معقد زي الIELTS. What is the main difference between TOEFL and IELTS? TOEFL is totally American and IELTS is totally British. So يفرق معاك لو انت مثلا if you are applying for the British University, or you are applying for a British scholarship in London or in the Great Britain or in the United Kingdom, you're gonna take the IELTS exam. لو انت رايح من المملكه المتحده او رايح الجامعه البريطانيه الجامعه الانجليزيه so you're gonna take the IELTS exam. However any other place here in Egypt اي مكان تاني هنا في مصر او بره مصر دايما بيطلبوا التويفل الدولي. التويفل الدولي. هل في نوع دولي وفي نوع محلي؟ توتالي في التويفل في نوعين والايلتس له نوعين برضه ما تقلقش. اوكي طيب let's first talk about the TOEFL. The TOEFL IBT. The IBT is the international one. IBT هو دايما بيبقى فيه الاربع مستويات او الاربع الفور ليفلز reading listening speaking and writing. فانت عندك الاربع مهارات هم بيقيسوها في الاي بي تي. الاي تي بي المحلي ما فيهوش الكلام ده، ما فيهوش الاربع مهارات يعني هنتكلم فيه دلوقتي. however when you take the IBT TOEFL test حد عارف الامتحان باخده فين؟ باخده في مكان اسمه الامد ايست في شارع محي الدين ابو العز في الدقي. ده المكان المعتمد او مش هو المعتمد الوحيد بس هو الاكبر على الاطلاق والاهم على الاطلاق في مصر كلها. So if you are going to take the TOEFL test, the IBT or ITP test, you can take it at the Ahmed East في محي الدين ابو العز في الدقي. So we have 4 skills: reading, listening, speaking and writing. And speaking of speaking بما اننا بناخد كورس conversation, what do you expect from the speaking test in the TOEFL, in the IBT TOEFL? Number one, you need to know that the total duration of the test is 20 minutes. فانت هتفضل تتكلم انجليزي لمده 20 دقيقه. Which is not bad by the way, and it's not long because the number of questions هما 6 اسئله. انت متخيل انت بتجاوب على 6 اسئله في 20 دقيقه، فانت ما فيش عندك مده طويله تتكلم فيها، فالموضوع فعلا مريح نفسيا شويه. الامتحان بيبقى شكله عامل ازاي؟ there is a gentleman or a lady standing before you or sitting before you. هتفضل قاعد قدامها وبتسألك أسئلة عادية جدا. السؤال الأولاني مثلا for example introduce yourself. So متوقع مثلا من أستاذة أسماء حمدي إنها to introduce herself تفضل تتكلم لحد ما الراجل أو الست يوقفها عن الكلام. فأسماء مش بتوقف كلام من نفسها، لا تفضل تتكلم عن نفسها. فالمتوقع والنصيحة هنا إن أنا I keep talking and I keep speaking but slowly اللي هو مش بطيء قوي ولا سريع. انا عايزك تتكلم in a normal pace which means that if I'm gonna introduce myself I can say مثلا my name is محمد عامر. I am a lecturer of specialized English conversation and interpreting and simultaneous interpreting at Cairo University. I'm 33 years old and I'm married with 2 children and so on. وافضل اتكلم بالشكل ده. اوكي فالبيسنج اللي انا ماشي بيه ده هو اللي هيخليني ان انا اعرف اغطي المده المسموح ليا بيها في امتحان السبيكينج which is not long by the way، لان هي هتيجي عند حد معين وتقول لك خلاص كده كفايه تعالى ننتقل على السؤال الثاني which can be مثلا السؤال الثاني مثلا ممكن يسالك وده سؤال احنا هنتدرب عليه مع بعض النهارده. What was the most embarrassing situation that you came by in the past؟ ايه اكتر موقف محرج انت تعرضت ليه قبل كده في حياتك؟ فتتكلم عن موقف محرج. Does it have to be real? Does it have to be actual situation؟ لا خالص، انت ممكن تألف منتهى البساطة، مش لازم تقول حاجة حقيقية، انت مش قاعد قدام يعني مش قاعد في تحقيق رسمي. Okay, so you can lie, you can fabricate situations, and you can tell any fabricated situation to the interviewer. As long as you keep talking and covering the duration of speaking ده مهم جدا. انت تفضل تتكلم لمدة السؤال بالكامل. اوكي السؤال الثالث ممكن يكون حاجة ظريفة جدا لان هو ساعات برضو بيحط لك قدامك كده في امتحان الاي بي تي صورة فيها مثلا for example a garden, children, families, they have games, blue skies, green gardens, we have birds and so on. منظر طبيعي كده في حديقة وعصافير وأولاد وبنات وعائلات موجودة. and he tells you to describe the picture, the portrait, which is very important لأن هو بيقيس هنا قدرتك على الوصف. how to describe the space or the place that you see. انت شايف في الصورة ايه، او عايز يعرف انت تعرف تعبر وتقول اوصاف ولا مجرد كلام وخلاص. فانت you can totally say I see a beautiful garden. فانت you're supposed to use a lot of adjectives. لازم يكون عندك adjectives، كمية adjectives كتير. For example a beautiful garden, a wide garden, a nice sky, a nice blue sky, a glowing sun, شمس مشمسة أو شمس مضيئة. So if it's at night لو الموضوع بالليل أو الصورة بالليل هتقول إيه؟ a glowing moon, a glowing moon, قمر لامع أو قمر مضيء. Okay, so this is very important. Describing a portrait can be somehow complicated لأن ممكن تكون أنت شايف حاجة أو شايف تفاصيل كتير في الصورة فأنت عايز تغطي الصورة كلها بالكامل. However, you keep dealing with details. فأنت بتركز قوي في الديتيلز من غير ما توصف الصورة الكاملة. الصورة الكاملة أنت دلوقتي واقف في حديقة. You see a lot of happy families, somehow naughty girls and boys, wide gardens, blue sky, glowing sun or burning sun, or a sunny sun, it's a sunny day, and so on. You keep talking about the general details. After that, you can go for the details. Look at those people wearing summer pants or summer clothes. They look happy. There are some people sitting on the garden itself, on the grass, and there are much people there eating pizza or eating ice cream and so on. فانت لما بتتكلم في الاول عن الشكل العام بعد كده تنتقل لتفاصيل صغيره وبسيطه المساله بالنسبه لك بتبقى اسهل كتير كتير. Okay, so this is question number 3. Question number 4 can be a dialogue. A dialogue يعني ممكن يكون هو بيتقمص شخصية حد معين وانت بتطرح عليه الأسئلة أو هو بيطرح عليك الأسئلة and you keep answering him. For example, one of the main questions in this situation is that he can be a professor and you a student. يعني هو مثلا professor زي كده وانت student. فبي keep asking you about your homework, your attendance, your assignment, your homework, حاجات كتيرة. Okay, is it real? No, it's not real. But if you did so, you need to cover as much as time of the duration itself. انت المفروض ان انت بتغطي اطول وقت من الكلام. So this is question number 4. Question number 5 can be somehow a long one because he will ask you about a situation in the past that you are regret of. موقف حصل لك في الماضي انت ندم عليه. ف you need to tell us about that situation. Why are you regret? And in the future, what would you do to avoid such a situation? فانت مش بتتكلم عن موقف محرج بس، انت بتتكلم عن موقف انت فعلا ندمان عليه او تصرف ندمان عليه، وانت لو في المستقبل او في الحاضر لو حصل لك الموقف ده كنت هتتصرف ازاي. Okay, and this is a long one. ده سؤال فعلا طويل لانه بيعرف منك تفاصيل شويه عن شخصيتك. Okay, number 6, which is very important and they mostly talk about traveling. يعني he can ask you about مثلا what is the country that you want to travel to. ايه البلد اللي انت حابب ان انت تسافر لها and why. So you can tell مثلا for example I'd like to travel to the Emirates to visit Dubai Mall. I'd like to climb the Burj Khalifa Tower, and I'd like to have a lot of shopping time. I'd like to swim in the Khalij, in the Gulf, and so on. You can talk about all of your dreams of visiting the Emirates. Another place you can also go for touristic spaces. For example, you can talk about visiting مثلا for example جزيرة بالي في إندونيسيا. I'd like to go to Bali or مثلا الكاريبي, the Caribbean islands. So you can describe. So while you are in the exam انت قاعد بتفكر ورسم الصورة في دماغك جزيرة نخل شجر بحر مياه زرقاء boat انت موجود على شط مثلا معاك حد تعرفه. You're describing the picture itself. So you keep describing with colors, with adjectives. مهم جدا انت تستخدم adjectives في رسم الصورة دي. Okay, so this is simply the TOEFL IBT. It's not scary. الموضوع قد يبدو صعب شوية، قد يبدو صعب. However, it's much easier when you are on the spot and when you get trained enough on it. الموضوع محتاج تدريب بس شوية. وتخيل ان كل اللي احنا اتكلمنا فيه ده بياخد من الوقت من الامتحان اصلا عبارة عن 20 دقيقة بس، 20 دقيقة بس وتلاقي نفسك خلصت القصة دي كلها. Okay. Now let's move to another test which is TOEFL ITP. ITP is the local version of TOEFL، وده كل الناس بتاخده هنا في مصر عشان يعملوا مثلا الماجستير والدكتوراه. وعلى فكرة مش لازم تاخده خالص في الأميديست. You can totally take it from the university. Every single university has its own language center. في كل جامعة حاجة اسمها مركز اللغات. مركز اللغات بيكون معتمد من الأميديست وبيديك الشهادة بتاعت التايفل. الامتحان ده ميزته ان هو ما فيهوش لا speaking ولا في writing. So it's all about MCQ and just listening. فانت مش هتتكلم مع حد خالص. It's all about listening. فالامتحان ده اسهل شويه، لكن هو totally local. عايز تتعين في وظيفه معينه في مصر طالبين منك TOEFL ITP. If you're going to apply for a job, that is your way to get the job, the TOEFL ITP. And if you want to get a master's degree or a PhD degree, TOEFL ITP would do it, but not more than that. ما ينفعش تسافر بيه، ملوش لازمه بره مصر. ما ينفعش تقدم بيه على منحه بره مصر، زي ما قلت لك كده ملوش لازمه خالص بره مصر. So TOEFL ITP ممكن يكون كبدايه بالنسبه لك، لكن النهايه دايما هتلاقيها فين؟ في الاي بي تي. طيب. So we covered التايفل. Let's now move to the IELTS. And IELTS, we have two kinds of IELTS. IELTS academic و IELTS general training test. So if we're talking about the difference between those, الفرق ما بينهم مش كبير بس هو المتعلق بالغرض. So if you are applying for a scholarship for a job opportunity in a university, it's IELTS academic. لو انت بتقدم في منحة او بتقدم في شغل في جامعة في اي دولة في العالم، هيطلب منك IELTS academic بيبقى الفرق ما بينه وما بين الجنرال تيست في الجزء بتاع الريدنج. يعني هو نفس الامتحان لكن الجزء الريدنج هتلاقيه متخصص شويه. Okay, so academic is much more difficult than general training test. The general training test you can totally take it، ما فيهوش مشكله خالص. طبعا بيغطي الفور سكيلز. الامتحان بيبقى على يومين، يوم واحد بس للسبيكينج، يوم واحد بس للسبيكينج، واليوم الثاني بتاخد فيه على طول الثلاث مهارات اللي هم الليسننج والريدنج والرايتنج. So السكور بتاعك اللي انت مطلوب منك في الايلتس عموما سواء كان academic or general training test هو المفروض السكور out of 9. ف if you are intermediate it's between 6 and 7. يعني ممكن تجيب 6، ممكن تجيب 6 ونص، ممكن تجيب 7 if you are intermediate. Post intermediate is 7.5 and after that you can hit up to 9. فمتوقع من حضراتكم لما تدخلوا امتحان زي ده يعني ما تقلش ان شاء الله خالص عن 6. So you can play for 6.5 to get 6. وخد بالكم في نظريه مهمه جدا في الموضوع ده، ان انا علشان انتقل يعني انتقل مثلا من 6 ل 6 ونص، ده محتاج مني شغل 6 شهور مذاكره بشكل يومي. So it's serious, it's difficult and it's complicated. الامتحان فيه مهارات كبيرة جدا ومهمة جدا وكتيرة قوي. فانت المفروض يعني لو حابب تعمل حاجة زي كده just take the TOEFL الأول، بعد كده ادخل على الآيلتس especially ان هو much more expensive than the TOEFL. Okay, so this is all about the IELTS and the TOEFL. So any questions concerning this part, the difference between TOEFL and IELTS? No questions. Okay, now let's get in the chat. How long do I need to prepare for the TOEFL exam? According to your current situation يا تسنيم، هي الفكرة ان التويفل exam المحلي مش محتاج تجهيز قوي خالص. يعني ممكن تذاكر مثلا لمدة اسبوعين، وعلى فكرة اصلا اي preparation course للتويفل بيكون اسبوعين. تاخديه في الجامعة او تاخديه حتى في الاميديست نفسه، البريبريشن كورس بيكون 2 weeks. بعد ال 2 weeks بتخضع للامتحان. انا اقدر ادخل الامتحان من غير بريبريشن؟ طبعا عادي جدا. انت ممكن تحجز ميعاد الامتحان وتمتحن دلوقتي او تمتحن تاني يوم. الموضوع مش شرط خالص ان انت تاخد بريبريشن كورس، بس طالما دي اول مره ليك in TOEFL so you need to get a preparation course to know the skills, to know the tricks that can get you a lot of marks. في الامتحان مش بس بيقيس مهاراتك في اللغويه، لا مهاراتك كمان في تغطية الامتحان، في أسئلة بتحلها قبل أسئلة، وفي أسئلة فيها تريكات معينة لو أنت عارفها تقدر إن أنت تستغل وقتك فيها. خد بالك الامتحان the test is timed، كل مهارة ليها وقت محدد، لو أنت زدت عن الوقت ده بتضغط على مهارة تانية أو بتضغط على سؤال تاني، فأنت كده بتضيع وقت especially in listening. يعني في listening لو أنت سرحت خلاص الموضوع منتهي. أوكي، خدوا بالكم في فرق كبير جدا ما بين التويفل والايلتس في رصد الدرجات. in TOEFL there is a mark even for the wrong answer، يعني حتى الإجابة الخاطئة في التويفل عليها درجة، ممكن تكون مثلا يعني ربع درجة أو نص درجة، لكن in IELTS no، mistake is a mistake، غلطت ما بتاخدش درجات، حليت صح بتاخد درجة. اوكي so this is the main difference between TOEFL and IELTS. انت في التويفل فعلا ممكن تجمع درجات in guessing، لما تكون مثلا الوقت عدى منك you can guess، ممكن تخمن تعمل اي حاجة فتاخد ساعتها نص درجة مش درجة كاملة. however in IELTS this system doesn't work there، السيستم ده مش موجود، فانت يا تحل يا ما تحلش. اوكي عشان كده بنقول دايما ان الايلتس ده مرحله متقدمه شويه عن التويفل، خليك في التويفل الاول بعد كده انتقل الى الايلتس. اوكي so does any one of you plan to take the TOEFL or IELTS very soon؟ لو في حد من حضراتكم ناوي ان هو يدخل الامتحان او اي من الامتحانين دول just tell me and I'll give you some books. انا عندي كتب في الايلتس في التويفل ممكن ان انا ارفعها لحضراتكم لو حد مهتم ان هو يدخل اي من الامتحانين، ف you're welcome to tell me and I'm gonna upload those books. دي كتب رسميه، يعني خد بالكم من حاجه مهمه جدا، امتحان التويفل اي تي بي بيجي من كتاب اسمه لونج مان، والامتحان ما بيخرجش من الكتاب، يعني هتلاقي نفس الاسئله بنفس الرصه بتاعتها في اللونج مان. كمان الموضوع متعلق بالايلتس، الايلتس هتلاقي الامتحان كله جاي من كامبريدج so ما بيجيبش من بره، ما بيخرجش بره المنهج. هل انا مضطر ان انا احفظ عشان احله؟ لا طبعا، احنا مش مستوانا بالشكل ده، احنا ناس شاطرين وناس ما عندناش فكره ان انا اروح احفظ الاسئله وبعدين اجاوب في الامتحان، لان هروح بره في المنحه اللي انا رايحها ديت وهعمل مشكله، لان ساعتها هكون انا حفيظ مش اكون انا حفيظ فعلا معناه ان انا كده حافظ مش فاهم. اوكي so we are much better than this، احنا احسن من كده بكتير ان شاء الله. اوكي TOEFL is taken once or more. The expiration for both exams is two years. كل سنتين، يعني امتحان النتيجه مدتها سنتين، خلصت السنتين بتمتحن من جديد سواء كان TOEFL او IELTS. وعلى فكره دول الامتحانين الوحيدين في العالم كله ليهم expiration date. يعني ايه expiration date؟ يعني هو ليه اصلا بيعمل expiry date اساسا؟ عشان يقيس مستواك كل شويه، مش عشان يكسب من وراك فلوس، والله الموضوع ما فيهوش مؤامره، بس هو الفكره ان انت طبعا كل سنتين مستواك بيختلف، في ناس مستواها بيزيد، في ناس مستواها بيبقى يفضل زي ما هو، في ناس مستواها بينزل عشان مش بتمارس، فهو لازم يقيس ده كل سنتين. What happens if you don't keep practicing؟ ممكن مثلا السنه دي انت جايب مثلا 6.5 وانت ما عملتش practicing بعدها، تعالى كمان سنتين تلاقي نفسك مثلا جايب 5.5 او 6. اوكي so it's not once. انا خدت التويفل حوالي 4 مرات لحد دلوقتي. كل سنتين بروح اخد الامتحان واشوف السكور بتاعي، والحمد لله كل مره the score is much better than the last time، الحمد لله يعني. ف لا مش بيبقى وانس ولا حاجه، وطبعا انا عارف التكلفه TOEFL is much cheaper than IELTS. الايلتس داخل دلوقتي في 4000 جنيه، التويفل ما بين 1000 ل 2000، انا مش فاكر بصراحه المبلغ كام لان انا اخر مره امتحنته كان في جامعه بنها وكان ب 1000 جنيه واقل من جنيه والله، بس كان من ضمن المتطلبات بتاعت البي اتش دي يعني. لكن في الاميدست ممكن يعدي ال 1000، ممكن مثلا يوصل 1200 انكلودنج الكتاب، انا مش عارف المبلغ النهائي كام دلوقتي وصلوا له كام، لكن it's much cheaper than IELTS. الايلتس هو اللي بيغلى عشان هو اللي عليه الطلب دلوقتي. اوكي ودي مسألة تسويقية وشطارة من البريتش كونسل. And by the way, I forgot to tell you that we have two different places, two main places to take the IELTS test from. في مكانين في مصر مهمين جدا تقدر تاخد منهم امتحان الايلتس. نمبر 1 بريتش كونسل. بريتش كونسل موجود في الجيزة. بليس نمبر 2 is IDB، والاي دي بي اصلا certified by the British Council، فكلاهما ممتاز، ما فيش اي مكان تاني غيرهم تعرف تاخد معاه الايلتس. اوكي عشان ما حدش يضحك عليك. فالتايفل له مكان اللي هو الاميديست في محي الدين ابو العز في الجيزه، وبرضه في الجيزه على الكورنيش هتلاقي البريتش كونسل المجلس الثقافي المجلس الثقافي او المركز الثقافي البريطاني. You can go there and take the IELTS. ده بيديك preparation course، ده بيديك برضه preparation course، لكن طبعا زي ما قلت لكم ان الايلتس much more expensive than TOEFL. Okay, so I wish we have covered everything about this. مهم جدا ان انت تبقى عارف الفرق ما بينهم، ولو حد من حضراتكم يعني قرر ان هو ياخد اي تيست من الاثنين يعني بس يكلمني، وانا عندي الماتيريال كلها كامله، وربنا يسهل لكم الامور ان شاء الله. Okay, agreed. Thank you so much for this. And now let's have a little video. عندي فيديو قوي جدا محتاج ان احنا نركز فيه قوي، عشان لما تدخل امتحان مثلا for example IELTS. I got from IELTS، يعني انا جايب لك النهارده امتحان speaking في الايلتس. شوف اهم المهارات اللي انت ممكن تستخدمها في الايلتس and you can apply for your daily situations. يعني ممكن حتى في حياتك اليوميه when you speak English you can apply those skills. So now I'm gonna play. لو الصوت مش واضح بلغوني وانا اشغله لحضراتكم. Okay, now I'm gonna play it. Please قولوا لي الصوت شغال ولا لا. Is it good? So there's no voice. الصوت مش واضح مش كده؟ طب خلاص مش مشكلة، أنا هجيب لكم الصوت. أوكي مش مشكلة، أنا هجيب لكم الصوت من على اليوتيوب نفسه. مفيش مشكلة خالص، أنا هجيب لكم الفيديو من على اليوتيوب. مفيش أدنى مشكلة. أوكي here we go. أنا وقفت الشير دلوقتي، هجيب لكم الفيديو من على اليوتيوب. Here we go. Okay. Now let's share sounds. No, not this one.
Long, has three
Is it
different
working right
sections
now?
and so on. And the Hi, I'm Rebecca from Ingvid. In today's lesson, I'll give you 10 important tips to do well and to get a higher score on the speaking section of your IELTS exam, or actually on any oral speaking test where you're sitting with a live examiner. Okay, so these tips don't apply actually to the TOEFL where your answers are recorded, but it's for any English exam where you're sitting with a real examiner. Okay, now the IELTS, of course, the speaking section of the IELTS test is about 11 or 14 minutes long, has 3 different sections and so on. And the IELTS is an exam which is it's an English proficiency exam. It's used for immigration purposes, for example, to Canada and Australia. It's used for admission to universities where English is the medium of instruction. And it's also used for professional certification purposes. So lots and lots of people, millions of people do the IELTS exam. And if you're one of them, these speaking tips will really help you. They're general tips. They're not about the specific sections. They apply to all sections of the speaking test. Okay, let's get started. So the first point is during your speaking test, be formal. By that, I mean treat it like a job interview. And just as in a job interview, you'll be on your best behavior and so on, behave that way. Don't take it very casually, okay? Take it seriously and be formal. Next, give a full answer whenever possible. Now remember, and just think about it, you have about 11 to 15 minutes to use the best English that you know and that you studied all your life, okay? So obviously, you want to try to show off during your English test. So when I say give a full answer, I mean in the first section, when they ask you some questions about you, about your family, about your background, if they say, for example, where are you from? Don't just say Tokyo, because that's just a one-word answer. Try as much as possible to give sentences. Give full sentences, right? Full answer. So that you can show when you use the full sentence that you know grammar, you know vocabulary, and all of these other things. So instead of saying just Tokyo, say, I'm from Tokyo, the capital of Japan. Or, I'm from the capital of Japan, Tokyo. Now, you've given a lot more information. So obviously, you'd get much more marks if you kept doing that throughout, right? Give full answers using sentences, not just words. Next, be polite. What we mean by that? For example, if the examiner asks you something and you didn't understand, it's okay. Just ask for the explanation in a polite way. Don't just say what or sorry. Say, excuse me, could you please repeat that? Because that's also using English, and that's what they want to know. Can you use English? And by being polite, you're not just showing that you know the language, but also that you know the culture of the language, which is being polite. Okay, so remember to do that. Next, maintain good posture. And why do I put that? Nobody's filming you, right? So why do you have to maintain good posture? Because your posture actually affects your the way you speak. Affects your confidence, the confidence with which you speak. It affects the way your voice is projected. So you want to make sure that you don't, for example, lean on your hand when you're speaking or anything like that. Okay? Make sure that you sit straight and don't put your hand anywhere near your face, even if you're nervous, because that will affect the quality of your voice and the way it's projected. Okay? Next. Number 5, speak clearly. Now, what I mean by this is don't worry too much about your accent. Everyone has an accent, and as long as you do your best to enunciate the words clearly.
شفتوا يا شباب النقطة دي بالذات. Every one of us has his own accent. So don't focus on this. Don't say that I can't speak like a native. I can't speak like American people, like British people. You're not supposed to do so. انت مش مطلوب منك تعمل ده اصلا ولا حد هيركز معاك ولا حد هيقول لك انت ليه مش بتتكلم like American people, like British people. Is that a good English? Yeah, it's totally good English. If you're speaking Egyptian English, it's very good as long as you can deliver the message. So please focus on this because it's like a phobia out there. في ناس كتير قوي بتقول لك لا انت المفروض تكون American accent, تكون British accent. No. خالص. Your accent is very, very good enough. Okay, so let's continue.
That's all you can do. If you need to improve your pronunciation, work on that before your exam. If there are some very specific pronunciation errors that you tend to make or that people from your country tend to make, then obviously work on those beforehand. For example, if you're a Spanish speaker and you say yes instead of yes, then that's a big mistake that you want to correct well before you come to the exam. So work on those pronunciation issues before, and then afterwards, don't worry about your accent. Just speak as clearly as you can. Okay? Next. Use descriptive words. By that, I mean, again, remember, we're supposed to show off, use the best English you have. So don't use boring words. Don't use overly used words like good, bad, okay, nice. Use exciting words. Use dynamic words to show that you have a rich vocabulary to express yourself in English. Don't just say good, or don't just say happy, say thrilled. Don't just say sad. You can say depressed. Use a more advanced word if you know it and if you're sure of the meaning. But most of all, try to stay away from the overly used words like good, bad, okay, nice. All right? Next. Speak up. Speak up means make sure you speak loudly enough to be heard and also recorded, because during the IELTS, for example, you are judged by that examiner and also you are recorded so that another examiner is going to listen to what you said during your English test. So speak clearly enough that the recording will allow you to be heard properly. Okay? Next, keep a steady pace. That means don't speak too fast and don't speak too slowly. If you're not sure how fast you should speak, speak slower than you think is necessary, because that way it's much more likely that you will be understood. Okay? Next, explain any foreign words that you use as part of your answer. What do I mean by that? And why should you be using foreign words? Well, foreign words can also be the names of cities, for example. So if they ask you where you're from, right, and you need to use the name of a city or a town, which is not common knowledge, like London or Paris. It may be not as common, and it may not be so easy to understand. So instead of saying, for example, suppose you're from India, and you come from a city called Hyderabad. Now, Hyderabad is a bit of a mouthful. It's an unfamiliar word. So what you could do to make it easier and to get higher marks is, instead of just saying I come from Hyderabad, and the examiner might think, well, what did he say? What does that mean? I don't understand. So a way to get around that is to say, I come from a city in the southern part of India called Hyderabad. Now what you've done is you've given an explanation of what you're going to say, so the listener knows that there is a word coming, and even if I don't know it, I know what it means or what it refers to. So it will sound, in fact, like you speak better English, because you have taken the listener into account. Okay? Next. Stay on topic. So even though I said speak in sentences, don't use too many sentences to answer any one question. So that, because if you do that, then the examiner will think that you don't understand the question. You want to make sure that you answer the question and don't go way beyond that. Okay? They always have enough questions to ask you. Don't worry. Next, don't use slang. Again, you want to use your best English. And slang can even be things like kids. A lot of my students don't realize that you should be using the word children instead of kids. Or you should use the word items instead of things, stuff. This is all slang, okay? Slang is not just bad language, but also this kind of casual language, right? You don't want to use that kind of language in your English test or on your IELTS speaking test. Use the best English that you know. And last of all, don't memorize answers. A lot of students read model answers, and it's good to do that. It gives you an idea of how to answer. But what you should do from that is to take ideas about how to structure your answer, take some vocabulary, take some expressions, but don't try to memorize the answer, because it's going to sound very artificial, and if you forget, it's going to completely fall apart. And also, the examiners are quite experienced. They can usually tell if you're suddenly, giving like a little speech, and they'll know that's not you, because you also answered, 15 other questions, and you didn't sound like that.
Okay, this is a very important point, that you do not have to memorize answers, which is very pivotal. A lot of people go out there into exams, into interviews, into even talking with ordinary people, and they keep memorizing answers. So when one of those people asks me about مثلا عن introduce myself, في ناس بتحفظ الإجابة أصلا. My name is so and so and مش عارف ايه، بيبقى حافظ الإجابة صم لدرجة ان انت تحس ان هو is giving a speech. So when you ask him another question that he does not memorize the answer of, بيبقى الموضوع مفضوح جدا. So please do not memorize answers. I just want you to express your heart, your mind, yourself. So this is very important. The woman here covered a lot of important points. Number one, be formal. Be formal يعني انت بلاش تستخدم كلمات مثلا زي gonna, I wanna, and so on. No, always be formal. Formal يعني انت تستخدم لغة رسمية. I want to apply for this job because I want to be an engineer for your company. So it's very formal. Number two, give a full answer. Give a full answer that I want you to give out much more details to your examiners, to those who talk to you. اي حد بيسألك سؤال، اي حد بيتجاوب معاك في الكلام, just give him a full answer because you are expressing yourself, you are expressing your own personality. Number 3, be polite and cultured. So في ناس كتير قوي بتخاف انها ما سمعتش السؤال ف يتكسف يقول I'm sorry. No, it's polite. It's out of politeness that you can say excuse me, could you please repeat the question again. مفيش مشكلة خالص, ومن ضمن الملحوظات المهمة في امتحان زي الايلتس مثلا for example. Okay, so لو انت ما سمعتش السؤال, كنت سرحان, الاكسنت ما فهمتهاش او ما فهمتش السؤال, you can totally say excuse me, could you please repeat that question again. Excuse me, what was that? Excuse me, I didn't hear you well. انا ما سمعتكش كويس. وهو out of courtesy و out of respect هيعيد نفس الكلام اللي قاله من جديد عشان تسمعه مرة تانية. So never be afraid of asking for repeating the question. Okay. Number 4, maintain a good posture, which is very important. Even if you are standing or sitting, you can maintain a good posture. Good posture انت وانت قاعد قعدتك قاعدة كويسة محترمة, قاعد واثق بنفسك. حتى لو انت واقف ما تبقاش انت ضامن برجليك على نفسك. No. يعني لو كان الكورس ده اوف لاين كنت وضحت لحضراتكم ازاي اصلا بنبقى قاعدين وواقفين, ويمكن انا اقدر ابعت لكم بابليك سبيكينج فيديوز على اليوتيوب تشوفوها وتشوفوا وضعيه الجسم السليم بتفرق معاك ازاي وانت بتتكلم كويس. ف it gives you confidence, it gives you much respect before the other people. بيديك احترام لنفسك قدام الناس كلها. Okay. Number 5, speak clearly. Speak clearly that you need to raise your voice, not out loud and not secretly. You just you're on the normal note of your voice. فانت لما بتيجي بتتكلم الكلام واضح كله, مخارج الالفاظ واضحه كلها, الكلمات كلها واضحه, ما بتضطرش الاكزامينر او الاذر بيرسون او الاذر بارتي ان هو يقول لك كل شويه what was that, I couldn't understand you, please speak out, and so on. Number 6, use descriptive words, which is very important. استخدم كلمات توصيفية. Try as much as possible to describe and use adjectives. Always use adjectives. الادجectives هي اللي بتخلي لك اللغة colorful, شكلها أفضل, فيها تفاصيل. So always use descriptive words. عشان كده بيجيب لك السؤال بتاع اللوحة ويقول لك describe, عشان عايز يعرف انت تعرف توصف ولا لا. Okay. After that, speak up. Speak up, raise your voice. Speak confidently. اتكلم بثقة, اتكلم بقوة, اتكلم عبر عن نفسك ايا كان السؤال اللي انت بتتسأله. No, you want to speak up. You need to speak up. After that, keep a steady pace. Steady pace يعني ما تسرعش قوي ولا يكون كلامك بطيء قوي. For example, there are some questions that needs to be answered مثلا ببطء شوية. For example, if you are introducing yourself, فانت تقول مثلا في البداية my name is أحمد زكريا and I'm an engineer. I'm 30 years old. أنا مش بكلم عن أحمد زكريا كشخصه يعني, بس it's an example. So أنت حطيت ووضعت لنفسك البيسنج, سرعة الكلام. بقية الأسئلة لازم تبقى بالرتم ده. ما ينفعش تسرع في أسئلة وتبطأ في أسئلة, ده معناه إن أنت فقدت ثقتك بنفسك لو بطأت شوية. Okay. So do not use foreign words. Always avoid foreign words. ما تحطيش كلمة عربي في النص ولا كلمة فرنسية في النص. No. يعني مثلا for example, بدل ما تقول pardon me ممكن تقول مثلا excuse me, because pardon is taken from French. So always use the English word. Excuse me, مش pardon me. Okay. Focus on topic. دايما ركز على الموضوع اللي انت بتتكلم فيه, ما تخرجش براه, ما تتوهش. Never astray from the subject matter. I want you to focus on a certain point, describe it, talk about details, talk about certain information. Do not astray from the subject matter. Never use slang. وده دايما بنتكلم فيه يا جماعه, مش روشانه خالص ان انا اتكلم مثلا في وانا وجانا ووات ذا هيل ووات ذا اف مش عارف ايه. No. ده انت لو عملت كده في امتحان TOEFL or IELTS انت خسران درجات ما تتخيلهاش. And it's very impolite to talk to other people in such a way. يعني الناس بتفكر انها الروشنه ان انا مثلا اقول طول الوقت oh damn oh shit oh fucking so on، بتفكر ان هو روش. no please it's impolite. تخيل انت بتقول نفس المصطلح ده بالعربي. sorry for this. يعني imagine yourself in a situation you have to say such bad words in Arabic which is very very impolite. so دي مش روشنه، دي اسمها قله ادب. okay. After that finally never memorize answers. اوعى ارجوك اوعى تحفظ اجابات نموذجيه، لان في ناس بتبقى مثلا عامله زي ايه، نموذج اجابه السؤال الفلاني. no you're gonna be in a scandal، لان مش انت بس اللي حفظت الاجابه دي، مصر كلها حفظت الاجابه. فلما الاكزامينر اللي قاعد قدامك ده عنده خبره طويله، سنين طويله، فهيبقى عارف when you are answering from the heart and when you are answering out of a model. امتى بتجاوب من قلبك فعلا مش حافظ، وامتى مرات تانية بتبقى حافظ صم يعني. okay. so thank you so much for this, and now let's move to another part. ثانية واحدة. okay, here we go again. And now I was thinking if we discussed some embarrassing situations, if you are in an embarrassing situations, and a lot of us, and maybe all of us, had embarrassing situations from the past. So I know this can be somehow embarrassing for all of us. إنه يتكلم عن موقف محرج حصل له في الماضي، لكن we need to express our hearts. أنا عملت ده مخصوص عشان إحنا كل واحد يعبر عن اللي جواه، كل واحد يعبر عن الحاجة اللي هو حاسس بيها. this is a very good opportunity to express yourself, to talk from the heart, to use as much as descriptive words. أنا عايزك تستخدم كلمات descriptive. So now I'm gonna ask all of you to answer those questions. في حد هيرفع ايده دلوقتي او انا هختاره بنفسي؟ يعني يا ريت هو اللي يرفع ايده بنفسه وخلاص. Number one, tell us about an embarrassing situation that you once came by in the past. موقف محرج حصل لك قبل كده. Number two, what was the most embarrassing thing about it؟ ايه اكتر حاجه محرجه في الموقف ده؟ يعني ايه اكتر حاجه خوفتك او احرجتك او خلتك مش مرتاح؟ Number three, how did you manage it؟ ازاي عرفت ان انت تنجو من الموقف ده؟ So let's answer this. Who wants to answer this situation؟ مين عنده موقف كان محرج قبل كده ويقدر ان هو يحكي لنا ويتصرف فيه ازاي؟ اوكي. مش عارف، حاسس ان انتوا نايمين النهارده. Who's going to answer this question? طيب May السيد, I want to hear from you. May, please open your mic. Hey May, are you there? May is not there. Who's ready to answer this question? We have Tasneem Kamel. Tasneem, please open your mic.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello, Tasneem.
Alhamdulillah.
You know, all of us have a lot of embarrassing situations. And أنا عندي موقف أصلا يعني صعبة جدا. Okay, you can pick one of those embarrassing situations, and it does not have to be real. مش لازم تجيب حاجة حقيقية فعلا. You can lie to us. ما فيش مشكلة خالص. احنا مش قاعدين في Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go and never stop. ماشي؟
The last week I get late for my college, so I have to get a taxi. So when I get a taxi and get in and get the college and get pay the money for the driver, and so finally tell me, I'm sorry for that, but I'm not a taxi. So finally and refuse get or take the money.
You stopped the car that was not a taxi.
Yeah, because in Beni Suef there is two similar car. Actually, especially white car. They're يافطة يعني.
So what did you tell the man then?
I think I appreciate this honest to get this situation, and I get tell him thank you. That's it.
Okay, Tasneem, this is a very important situation because I always give my hand to a lot of cars and they are not taxi.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah,
embarrassing, but they never stop and they give me a drive. It's very
yeah.
important. So, Tasneem, what would you do in the future to avoid such a situation to happen again?
I have no idea about this because there is no a big difference from this car or this taxi. Okay, it's okay.
So the plates are the same. So the plates are not different even in color. There is no sign for the taxi itself
Yeah,
over the
taxi
car.
it's orange, but
It's orange.
the car or the car blue.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can totally be lost in this. But in the future, I have an advice to you. Before you get into a car, you can just ask the man inside it, are you a taxi? So that may be a less embarrassing situation. And
Because
instead of getting in
yeah,
and
yeah, I was
and the man
late.
refused. The
Yeah,
man refused to get money.
yeah.
Okay, Tasneem, I'm happy to know that you are from Bani Suef, which is very close to my wife's country. It's
Mm-hmm.
Mania, Bani Mazar, and
I know.
really happy that you expressed yourself. And I wish you do not have this embarrassing situation again. Thank you so much, Tasneem.
You're
And
welcome.
let's move to another speaker. Now, I'd like to hear from Radwa Farouk. Radwa, please open your mic. Hey, hello.
Hello, doctor.
Hello, Radwa. Good afternoon. Sorry, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, do you have any embarrassing situations? And I know you may have a lot. Yeah,
Yes.
just tell us. Yeah, we have a lot of those.
Last Wednesday, I'm very late to my college, so my professor told me, um, "What time is it to hand your phone? You already took catch phone and not so. What time is it? It's still too late."
Uh-huh.
So
Oh,
already a traffic jam and really jammed in transportation. So she told me no apologize this and took off the class and
whoa. Actually, this is a very embarrassing one. So, Radwa, in the future, how would you do to avoid such a situation to happen again?
I think time management and commitment to my
Yeah,
time deadline.
totally. Yeah, I never do this again.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you so much, Radha, for your time. It's very amusing and
thank
it's very
you.
funny. Okay, now I'd like to hear from Zakaria, Ahmed Zakaria. Are you there?
Yes, doctor.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, doctor.
As a man, from a man to a man, I want the most embarrassing one. Okay, and never be afraid of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm, a month ago, I was on the street looking for a work. India man stopped me and asked about something, but I don't understand you. يعني. I don't understand him.
Yeah.
So
And what was the embarrassing about this? Zakaria, I don't think this is an embarrassing situation because it could be a mistake of him. He may be speaking in a very bad way. You couldn't understand him, and you could totally tell him that I don't understand you. Sorry, I don't understand you. That's it. So during COP27, when I met a lot of people and they keep asking me about questions that I do not know the answer of, I just tell them that I don't understand. I don't know. Just don't know. It's not a crime.
يعني هو أنا قلت له
No Arabic, no Arabic.
I am tell him I don't understand for you but اللي هو مش عارف اقولها بصراحة او مش عارفها.
But it's not that embarrassing, Ahmed. Believe me, it's not that embarrassing because you did not understand him. And even if he is speaking English, and even if he's speaking Arabic, you couldn't understand him. It's not a problem. It's not embarrassing at all. Next time, just prepare a much more embarrassing situation more than this. هو ده مش embarrassing ولا حاجة. هو ده عادي يعني مفيش مشكلة خالص. Okay, now let's hear from Mrs. Wala Amer. Mrs. Wala, are you there?
Yes, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Nice to meet you again.
Thank you.
Okay, do you have an embarrassing situation?
I really don't remember certain situation because maybe I'm a little bit cautious to be put in an embarrassing situations.
But you can just tell us about any situation that you felt uncomfortable with.
I remember a situation. It was
yeah, here we go.
My mother was very sick, and she suddenly fainted, so I didn't know what to do. It was I was very frightened, but I tried to behave or to call for help fastly.
Yeah.
By the way, my mother passed away 2 years ago, so I cannot.
God be merciful with her. Sorry to hear this.
This situation. So I remembered it when.
But
that's what comes to my mind fast.
It's not an embarrassing one. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult situation because you wanted to help your dearest person all over the world, and you couldn't. I think this is very painful, and I advise you whenever you remember her, and I know we can't even forget our beloved people. They are on our minds all over the time, but whenever it passes to your memory or passes to your mind, just recite al-Fatiha, just pray for her, and I'll always pray for her. Mrs. ولاء يعني ادعي لها دايما ما فيش مشكلة خالص. It's not an embarrassing one. Never mind خالص. Okay, now let's انا هقول لكم على embarrassing situation I passed by وهقول لكم برضو انا اتصرفت فيه ازاي. So that man, there was a man that was so annoying, an annoying man. كان مزعج جدا. This man kept talking to me and I was in a very hurry. أنا كنت مستعجل جدا. I was going to my business, to my job, and that man kept talking to me. So I told him that sorry for this, but I have a friend to meet at Ramses. So I'm gonna go to get this bus and go to Ramses. So I got to the bus, which is not going to Ramses, it's going to the 6th of October. I was going to 6th of October, okay? So it happened that I met the same man on the same bus, but in 6th of October. And he told me, where did you go into Ramses? And I told him that I got lost. And it was the most stupid answer I can ever say. انا كان ممكن اقول له على اي اجابه ثانيه غير ان انا كنت تهت. واحد رايح رمسيس وبعد كده راح 6 اكتوبر وقلت ان انا تهت. It was a stupid answer and it was a very embarrassing situation. And what would I do in the future to avoid such a situation to happen again? I would always say the truth. Now I'm busy, I need to go. That's it. I do not have to say that I'm going to meet a friend, I'm going to meet a father, I'm going to meet a mother. No, you do not have to give answers or to give out reasons. No, just tell the truth. I'm busy. Yeah, I'm gonna leave right now. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so this practice was very important, but some of you يعني didn't nail it قوي. ما حدش ركز فيه قوي ان هو يجيب موقف فعلا محرج من الماضي. Maybe you have you need some يعني longer time to remember a more embarrassing situation. So فكروا في حاجه زي كده، ممكن تبعتوا لنا على الجروب في audio files ان شاء الله. Now let's talk about a much important conversation. ممكن نتكلم عن حاجة أهم شوية أو حاجة تكون أسهل شوية. Your future aspirations, your dreams in the future, what you want to be in the future, what status, what position you'd like to have in the future. So all of us, students, professionals, grads, undergrads, all of us have our own worlds, our own families, our own jobs and dreams. I'd like you to talk about your dreams. What do you want to be in the future? And now let's start with Muhammad Maqlad, whose voice I'm really missing. كان وحشني صوتك جدا على فكرة. Good evening, man. Hello over there. Can you hear me? Muhammad. محمد صوته مش واضح. طب you can check your internet connection. شوف الانترنت بتاعك كده وادخل لنا كمان شويه. Okay, so we have مريم عبد المنعم. Hello مريم, are you there?
Hello doctor, good evening.
Good evening. Okay, so Mariam, I would like you to talk about your future aspirations. What do you want you to be in the future?
I want to be a translator.
Yeah, okay. تمام. What else? I just want you to express yourself. قولي هتعملي ده ازاي وناوي تعملي ايه بالظبط؟ اصل كلمه I wanna be a translator دي عامه جدا. اوكي؟ فقولي لي المترجم فين واعمل ايه واسوي ايه. I need details.
I want to translate written translation. I don't like simultaneous translation.
Whoa, come on. هنتكلم في الموضوع ده بعدين.
That's it. I would take many courses for this.
Yeah.
Improve my language.
Yeah. But Mariam, I have a question to you.
Okay.
Is it because you can be afraid of speaking to other people that may be the reason behind that you do not want to be an interpreter one day?
I see it's difficult for me.
Difficult.
You have a headache.
Every single thing in our life, in our world, can be difficult, by the way. It's not about easy and difficult. It's all about how professional you can be and how skilled you can be in that skill. So, as a simultaneous interpreter, from a simultaneous interpreter to a student of mine, please just don't say, I don't want to be a simultaneous interpreter. Just say, I'd like to try written translation before trying any other types of interpretation or translation. And this is a much better perspective to see things around you. Okay, so Mariam, again, why do you prefer written translation more than simultaneous interpreting?
because I have time to check my translation.
Yeah. What else?
Because not anyone check my language in in this time.
Okay, so the main difference between translation and simultaneous interpreting is that you may have time to check and to revise your grammar, your written translation, but you do not have such leisure in simultaneous interpreting. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but I believe you can develop your own skills to be as simultaneous interpreting in the future. So you can totally use your written translation to develop your interpreting skills. So Mariam, never mind, you're gonna be a very, very talented translator, but after that, I'll meet you in interpreting, okay?
Inshallah. Okay.
Great, man. Thank you so much. Okay, now we have a Xiaomi phone. في حد مسمي نفسه
محمد.
Xiaomi.
لا نو محمد مالك.
عامل ايه الاخبار؟
تمام بخير الحمد لله.
يا رب دايما. Thank you so much. انا اتخضيت، انا قلت داخل عليا حد دخيل ولا حاجه. Never mind. So Muhammad, I'd like you to talk about your dreams in the future, what you want to be.
Okay, I am now work project accountant in Plan International Egypt. I hope project accountant in another organization from Africa. So or plan organization في Ghana, Ethiopia, any place, but I interested now search the job in Ukraine or Poland.
Or Poland.
Yes. I hope this, but no jobs now. But I am search for this. Hi, doctor.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Now
I hope
okay. You didn't give me much information, but aren't you afraid that we have a war over there in Ukraine and Poland can indulge in such war? You know, Russia is in a war in Ukraine, and it's not safe there.
Oh, I know, but the plan organization يعني ensure this work this the place يعني plan any organization ensure this يعني تأمن يعني امان يعني ان انت يعني بتأمن لك المكان.
No Arabic, man.
Oh, sorry.
So I have a question to you. If you know that there is a certain place that will give you a lot of money if you work there, and that place was not safe, maybe Palestine, maybe Ukraine, maybe a place that there is a war over there, would you go there to work for that money?
No. But
no, you prefer safety to money.
Yes, but the big experience, big experience.
Yeah. Okay, this is very important.
I know this is the work in the community work. Now this work emergency. But in the CV, big experience.
Yeah, so it's very important to the CV itself to get that such experience. Okay, I wish you success in your life whenever the place is. يعني مهما كان المكان اللي تروحه, I wish you success and you can do it totally. totally you can do it. Never mind. Okay, شكرا جزيلا. I'd like to hear from Mrs. ولاء عامر again. What is your future aspiration? What you'd like to achieve in the future?
I would like to improve my my skills in teaching.
Yep.
And I have an interest in translation as well, so I'm trying to improve my skills in translation. Doing well in my career, that's my inspiration. And maybe I'm thinking to work as a freelancer.
Yeah, work as a freelancer. What would you do as a freelancer? Maybe an interpreter, translator, teacher?
Translator and online teacher as well.
Online teacher as well. Did you try giving lectures or lessons online?
I tried, yes.
Yeah, you tried. And what was your feedback on this? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it, yes.
Yeah, because I meet a lot of teachers who do not like online teaching because, you know, it may lack human interaction. You can't see your students can't see you, and so on. So, but you like the experience. Yeah, look at this, Mrs. Wala, because
sorry, Dr. Amer, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Never mind. I was telling just telling you that I met a lot of friends and a lot of teachers who are somehow not into teaching online because it lacks human interaction, because students can't hear you well, can't see you well, and vice versa. So let me tell you about my experience on this, because throughout my career, I have given lectures on site. I've given lectures in person, and I've ever been in an online class like 2 years. So I have only 2 years of experience in online teaching. So in the beginning, I thought it would be boring, it would be dull, but with excellent students, just like you. It's not only Wala, it's all of you. Come on, believe me. With your politeness, with your professionalism, with your talent, and with your wit, I believe that online teaching is my thing. Yeah, I totally love it, because I do not have to see Wala or see Ahmed Zakaria. أنا عايز أشوفكم طبعا وكل حاجة وأتشرف بيكم وكل حاجة، بس I don't have to see you to teach you. You get it? It's not that important. We can totally have a human interaction online if we are opening our hearts to each other. Okay, so this is Wala. I believe you're gonna have a very successful future as an English teacher, as a translator, not only a freelance, but you can have a total career in translation. Thank you so much, Mrs. Wala. Amusing as usual. حقيقي. Okay.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to hear from Radwa. Hello, Radwa. Radwa, are you there? Can you hear me? Please open your mic if you do. Radwa is not there. Okay, who would like to talk about himself, about his future aspirations? مين عايز يتكلم عن مستقبله؟ عايز يعمل ايه؟ يسوي ايه؟ Who wants to take the mic and to talk freely? Mayil Sayed, please open your mic. The floor is yours.
Hello, doctor.
Hello, May. How are you?
Hey, doctor, I have a bad connection.
Yeah, I can totally hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, doctor. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I would you like translation, so yeah. I hope a good translator, and
Yep.
interpret. And would you like to improve my skills? And I take many courses. Can you hear me, Doctor?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like translation and interpretation, simultaneous interpreting. But I am afraid of facing people.
You're afraid of facing people. You are afraid of dealing with people.
Yeah.
Do you know the
Yeah.
reason why you are afraid of people?
No.
You do not know
Okay.
the reason.
Well, I have answer because I afraid of because my accent. يعني
Your accent.
Your
Again, look at this, May, because this is a very, very, very bad. This is a very bad situation. You do not have to you do not have to expect much praise from people. ما تستنيش إضاءة من الناس حوالين الأكسنت بتاعتك. Because you're not expressing your accent, you're just expressing yourself. Don't wait for مثلا, for example, for Muhammad Amer or Ahmed Zakaria or any one of us to praise or to say, hi, oh my God, this is very nice. She has a very good accent. People don't do this. We just get the message out of May. Is May a very talented speaker of English? No. Is May a terrible speaker of English? Of course, no. She get the message. She needs to be a much better speaker, but she is a good speaker right now. She can give me the message. She can give me the whole meaning of a message. Okay, so never get terrified of this. I want you to go to the whole world and express yourself. This is May Sayed, and I'd like to be so and so and so in the future. It's your game. It's not a problem. Okay? So May, never be afraid of this.
And their eyes, Doctor. Can you hear me, Doctor?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. When I'm translate and end my translation, I see eyes of people, and I'm afraid.
Again?
Okay. When I translated, okay.
Yeah.
And end my translation. I look I look at the eyes of people. So I'm afraid.
Oh yeah, okay. So we have a solution. We have a simple solution for this, May. And it's not only to May, to all of you. Look at this. People, when you speak to other people, when you speak to a lot of people, when you speak to only one person, just don't look at the eyes. Always look at the forehead. You know forehead? الجبهة. بصوا على الجبهة. عارفين جبهة الرأس؟ محدش يبص لحد في عينه يا جماعة. في السبيكينج عربي او انجليزي اي كلام في الدنيا تمام. مي لما تتكلمي معايا ما تبصليش في عينيا ولا انا هبص في عينيكي. You got it? It's a very important psychological game. Do not look at eyes because you'll always get afraid. How? It doesn't matter how much experienced you are. مفيش فرق انت مع خبرتك قد ايه هتخافي. So never look at eyes. Always look at the forehead, and it's out of respect كمان. من الاحترام ما بين الجنسين كمان ما بين الراجل والست والست والراجل. Do not look at eyes, always look at the forehead. Okay, so next time when you talk to me ان شاء الله لو لينا العمر ان احنا او النصيب ان احنا نتقابل, never look at my eyes and I will never look at your eyes. Okay, مش انا بس, ده مع الناس كلها.
Okay.
Okay, دي حاجه مهمه. انا مش عارفه ازاي ما قلتلكمش على حاجه زي كده قبل كده. ما حدش يبص لحد في عينيه يا جماعه. اوكي, بالعربي اهو. تمام. شكرا يا مي, بس كويس ان انت اثرتي الموضوع ده. It's very important. So when you talk to people, do not look at eyes. And a very important thing that if you are speaking to a lot of people, لو انت بتتكلم مع ناس كتير او بتتكلم قدام ناس كتير, if you are giving a presentation, giving a lecture and so on, you do not have to look to only one person. مش هبص بس لمي، لا انا ابص لمي وبعد كده زكريا وبعد كده مريم ومقلد ورضوى وتسنيم وبلاء وبقيه الساده اللي مش موجودين معانا النهارده. I'll keep looking to all of them. مش بس بركز مع مي. I keep distributing and spreading my sight to all of those people. يعني محتاج ان انا ابص على الناس كلها، مش هبص على واحده واحده بس. تمام؟ ليه بقى؟ لان ده مريح اكتر، ان انا كده ماشي بعينيا بعمل دايره على الناس كلها، بوزع الاهتمام على الناس كلها. بما ان انا فضلت مركز مع مي كده، مي ممكن تقلق وانا اقلق والموضوع يكون مش مريح. اوكي؟ تمام. تسلمي، شكرا جزيلا. Thank you so much مي. Thank you never mind. Thanks to you. ده شكرا ان انت اثرت الموضوع ده حقيقي. تمام.
I hope you see in my faculty.
When was that؟ امتى؟
نتمنى يا دكتور يعني نشوف حضرتك.
Yeah, totally والله يا ريت يا مي والله اعرف اجي لكم تاني. انت عارفه المشاكل اللي حصلت. انا عايز اشوفكم جميعا والله حقيقي. انت عارفه المشكله اللي حصلت ساعتها، وهم مش حابيني عندكم يعني.
والله يا دكتور احنا دايما بنحارب اعداء النجاح.
ولا يهمك، مفيش مشكله خالص. انتوا عارفين انا علاقتي بيكم مش علاقه حد مثلا درس لمده مثلا ترم او سنه او انا درست لكم ترم واحد بس هو الفكره ان انا علاقتي بيكم مش professor to students. يعني انا from brother to brothers and sisters بجد.
يا دكتور
مش فارقه خالص ادرس لكم ولا لا، as long as يعني انتوا بتفولو مي and I follow you، وانا متابع اخباركم كويس جدا جدا يعني، ومثير حقيقي. وفي نايل تيسل جاي في الجامعه الامريكيه، خلينا نتقابل هناك
ان شاء الله يا دكتور باذن الله.
ان شاء الله. تسلمي يا مي. and by the way كويس ان مي اثارت الموضوع ده. لو حد من حضراتكم ناوي يبقى مدرس انجليزي ان شاء الله، if you are an English teacher or if you want to be in the future an English teacher, you can join نايل تيسل يوم 23 و24. ده اكبر مؤتمر لمدرسي اللغه الانجليزيه في الجامعه الامريكيه في التجمع الخامس. So if you are an English teacher, if you're not an English teacher and you do not want to be an English teacher, it's a very important occasion to speak English out loud. دي برضو فرصه ان انت تتكلم انجليزي مع الناس ومع عدد مهول. انا بقول في الافات البني ادمين بيكونوا هناك. ف you're totally invited to join us at Nile Teasel at the American University in Cairo at the 5th settlement في التجمع الخامس at the 23rd and 24th of January. اشوفكم جميعا هناك اتمنى، وده شيء يشرفني جدا. ودايما حبايبي بتوع قناه السويس دايما منورين هناك. مره جم قناه مره جم نايل تيسل، ومره نوروني كمان في الجامعه البريطانيه. انت كنت موجوده فين يا مي؟
يا دكتور في البريطانيه.
في البريطانيه، تمام. ده كانت ايام جميله والله، قبل الكورونا وقبل القصص دي كلها.
والله يعني احنا اصلا يعني من ساعه ما شفنا حضرتك يا دكتور والله والايام الحلوه كلها راحت. بجد يعني.
تسلمي يا مي، ربنا يخليك. واحنا كده لينا لقاء ان شاء الله. اتشرف بيكم وتفرحوني واتصور معاكم من جديد، عشان وحشني الصور جدا معاكم والله.
والله يا دكتور ان حضرتك درست لنا يعني ترم، هو كان حاجه بسيطه جدا بس حضرتك فدتنا بجد.
دي ربنا يخليك يا مي، تسلمي ما تتحرمش، ده بس من ذوقك. ربنا يوفقكم جميعا وتكسروا الدنيا كده. Okay people, I really enjoyed our session today حقيقي بجد. يمكن عددنا قليل، يمكن عددنا بسيط، ما سمعتش ناس كتير النهارده، بس انا اكتفيت بالناس اللي موجوده النهارده، كنتوا مشرفيني. مي، احمد زكريا، مريم عبد المنعم، محمد مقلد، رضوى، تسنيم، وولاء عامر، مع حفظ الالقاب لكل الناس اللي اكبر مني. I really enjoyed our meeting today, our session today. You are very talented people and I'd like you to keep speaking English quickly all the time. زي ما اتفقنا في الأول. Record yourself for like 2 minutes or 3 minutes talking about yourself, talking about embarrassing situations from the past for like 2 or 3 minutes consecutively. It's very important for your personality, for your character, and for your English skills. تمام؟ هنعمل ده، وانا هبعت برضه فويس بده على الجروب ان شاء الله عشان الناس اللي مش عرفتناش النهارده. شكرا جزيلا، وحشوني جدا، وهنتقابل ان شاء الله next Friday في ميعادنا عادي جدا. فاضل لنا محاضرتين ونرتاح بقى من القصه دي. اوكي. هتوحشوني جدا واشوفكم على خير ان شاء الله. Thank you so much and have a good night.